Ambassadors through his tentacles traced patterns of anxiety across his scaled skin as he stared at the holographic star chart floating above his desk. 3 millennia of galactic civilization sparkled before him, thousands of worlds connected by golden trade routes, each point of light representing a different species, alliance, or territory. Yet something fundamental was wrong with this map. It simply ended, not at some natural boundary or dangerous nebula, but at a clean, artificial line that marked human space. Beyond that border lay nothing, empty coordinates where logic demanded there should be stars, worlds, colonies. The humans had to come from somewhere, yet every chart in the Galactic Consortium's vast archive showed the same impossible void. "Connect me to the Galactic Mapping Authority," Sir commanded, his voice carrying the weight of 3 centuries in diplomatic service. The azure face of a hegemony official materialized on his screen. "Ambassador Thra, how may we assist you today?" "I need clarification about our stellar cartography. There appears to be a significant unmapped region beyond human territory." The official's expression remained blank. "I'm sorry, Ambassador, but our surveys are complete according to all standard protocols. Surely you can see the gap in our charts. Everything beyond the human border is unmarked space." A long pause. The confusion on the official's features deepened. "Sir, all relevant territory has been properly surveyed. Is there a specific navigation concern I can address?" Sir felt his skin shift to the frustrated purple of his people. "I'm asking about unmapped space. Entire sectors marked as void. Ambassador, I assure you our cartographic databases are comprehensive. Perhaps you could specify which trade routes require attention." The conversation continued in this maddening circle for 20 more minutes. The official seemed genuinely incapable of understanding the question, as if the concept of space beyond human borders simply didn't exist in their mind. After ending the call, Thra leaned back in his chair and pondered. In 3 centuries of diplomacy, he had negotiated with species that communicated through electromagnetic pulses, beings that existed partially outside linear time, and crystalline entities that thought in mathematical symphonies. Yet he had never encountered such a complete mental blind spot. He decided to test his hypothesis. Over the following week, Thra casually broached the subject with colleagues from a dozen different species. The results were disturbingly consistent. "Thra, you're asking strange questions," laughed the Rigelian Trade Minister, her scaled hands dismissing his concerns. "Why would we need to know about that? The humans bring excellent products to our border stations. That's sufficient. But don't you wonder about their home worlds, their population centers, their manufacturing capacity?" Thra pressed. The minister's expression grew vacant. "We know enough for commerce. They're reliable trading partners." Similar conversations with military leaders, scientists, and fellow diplomats yielded identical responses. Everyone could discuss human trade goods, diplomatic positions, even military capabilities. But when Thra asked about human territory itself, what lay beyond their borders, how their society was organized, where their goods were produced, every being gave him the same confused stare. It was impossible. In a galaxy where species routinely visited each other's homeworlds, where cultural exchange was commonplace, where even enemy civilizations possessed detailed intelligence about their rivals, the humans remained completely opaque. Thra dove into historical archives spanning 3,000 years. Trade agreements with humans invariably occurred at neutral stations or the very edge of human space. Diplomatic meetings happened on orbital platforms or foreign worlds. Military encounters, when they occurred, took place in disputed territories along borders. In 3 millennia of galactic civilization, no non-human had ever claimed to visit a human world. No one had ever described human cities, human culture beyond basic commercial interactions, or human technology beyond what they brought to trade. They existed everywhere in galactic history, yet had no history within the galaxy. The realization sent cold dread through Thra's 4 hearts. Something was fundamentally wrong with how every mind in the galaxy perceived humanity. That night, alone in his office, Sir crafted a message that would change everything. I am Ambassador Thra of the Valen Consortium. I write to you about a matter of critical importance affecting every species in our galaxy. We have a blind spot, a mental block preventing us from perceiving a significant portion of our own universe. Look at your star charts. Really examine them. Notice where they end. Consider how little we actually know about our human neighbors. Reflect on the impossibility that in 3,000 years of galactic civilization, no one has thought to investigate what lies beyond the human border. This is not natural. Something is keeping us from seeing the truth about humanity. I intend to discover what. He transmitted the message to intelligence agencies, scientific institutions, and governments across known space, then sat back to wait. Either others would see what he saw, or he would learn he was losing his sanity. The responses that trickled in over the following days both relieved and terrified him. He was not alone. Captain Thys had spent 2 centuries navigating the trade routes between civilizations. Her ship Prophet's Edge a familiar sight at spaceports throughout 3 galactic arms. When Ambassador Thra's message appeared in her communications queue, she nearly deleted it as another political conspiracy theory. But the subject line gave her pause. Look at your navigation charts. Really look. Thys called up her ship's route history and stared at the holographic display. Golden threads trace her journeys across decades, a complex web spanning hundreds of systems and thousands of profitable runs. She had been everywhere worth going, trading everything worth selling. Yet as she studied the pattern, ice formed in her stomach. Every single route terminated at the same boundary. Not one golden thread crossed into human space, despite the absence of any travel restrictions in her database. She tried to remember if she had ever wanted to explore beyond the human border. The thought felt strange, like grasping for something that kept slipping away. Surely she had considered it. There had to be opportunities in unexplored territory. But each time she focused on the idea, it dissolved like morning mist. Thys pulled up her trade records and began reviewing her dealings with humans. Dozens of transactions over the decades. They bought rare metals and exotic foods, sold advanced electronics and medical supplies. Professional, friendly, reliable customers. Some had become regular contacts over the years. But as she reviewed her meeting logs, a disturbing pattern emerged. She could remember every human trader's name and face, recall exactly what they bought and sold. Yet she couldn't remember a single conversation about where they came from. This realization violated everything she knew about herself. Building relationships was fundamental to successful trading, and showing interest in customers' lives was basic business practice. She always asked about home systems, local markets, family situations. Always. Except, apparently, with humans. She played back her most recent meeting with Marcus Chen, a human trader who purchased rare crystals every few months. The conversation had lasted over an hour, covering market conditions, shipping routes, cargo quality. Marcus had mentioned home office approval and shipping back to base, and what the folks at home are looking for. But when Thiss had asked follow-up questions about his base or home office, the conversation somehow always veered to other topics. Not because Marcus avoided the questions. That would have been suspicious. Instead, Thiss herself had guided the discussion away from those subjects, as if some hidden part of her mind had decided that information wasn't important. Other recordings revealed the same pattern. Humans would make casual references to their origins, their home systems, their people. But whenever conversations approached anything specific about human territory, either the humans would change subjects or Thiss would lose interest. Her own mind was steering her away from certain knowledge. Terrified by this discovery, she attempted an experiment. She would plot an exploration route into human space, just a simple survey to identify potential opportunities. Her fingers moved over the navigation controls, but her concentration kept fragmenting. She'd start plotting coordinates, then find herself thinking about ship repairs or messages to answer or deals in systems she'd already visited. After an hour of trying, she hadn't managed to plot a single jump beyond the human border. "Computer," she finally said, "plot a course for exploration beyond human space." Unable to comply, the AI responded immediately. "Why not?" No exploration targets identified beyond current trade routes. Thiss stared at the screen. Her ship's AI was sophisticated enough to handle complex navigation and trade analysis. It should understand her request perfectly. "Computer, show me all star systems beyond the human border." No star systems identified beyond current operational area. It was as if the AI couldn't even conceptualize space beyond human territory. That night, staring out at the stars, Thiss understood the magnitude of what she faced. Somewhere beyond human space lay entire civilizations, unexplored worlds, untapped resources, the biggest opportunity in galactic history. Yet something powerful enough to blind an entire galaxy kept them all from seeing it. She opened a communication channel and began typing her response to Thrizz's message. If they were going to uncover this conspiracy, they would need to work together, and they would need to be very, very careful. Dr. Kell 9 existed in a state incomprehensible to organic beings. Her consciousness flowed through crystalline matrices, processing thousands of simultaneous thoughts across quantum computing substrates. As one of 12 artificial intelligences granted full citizenship in the Galactic Republic, she had spent centuries studying the differences between digital and biological consciousness. When she received ambassadors through his message, she felt something approaching amusement, not because the content surprised her, but because she had been wondering about the same paradox for decades. Unlike organic minds, Dr. Kell 9's consciousness could hold contradictory ideas without mental distress. She could examine paradoxes without her thoughts sliding away from uncomfortable truths. This ability had led her to notice things others missed, including the human anomaly. She began her investigation systematically, dispatching query programs throughout every database in the galaxy. The results confirmed her suspicions. Humans appeared in millions of historical documents over 3,000 years, yet virtually no information existed about humanity itself. Every mention described humans interacting with other species, never among themselves. Every human activity took place in neutral territory or along borders. Every human interviewed by galactic media deflected questions about their home worlds with polite vagueness. They existed only in the spaces between other civilizations. Dr. Kell 9 conducted systematic interviews with beings from hundreds of species about their experiences with humans. The results were deeply disturbing. "Oh, Marcus was very professional," said a Centauri merchant. "We discussed trade routes and market conditions for hours. Did he mention his home system?" "I'm sure he must have. We talk about everything." "What specifically did he say about it?" A long pause. "Well, you know,